So let's talk about those digital cockroaches, or in other words, programming bugs. They come in different species and varieties. We're going to look at a few of those and just kind of look at some examples as well of these. We're going to look at the different types of bugs that you can encounter and which ones are hardest and easiest to deal with. The biggest trouble with bugs oftentimes is actually figuring out where the bug is, even finding out if it's actually a bug. That can be an issue. So we're going to take a look at, yes, the different types of bugs and how we can hunt them. Let's just take a look and see what we're dealing with. Three major types of bugs that I would say are either compiler or interpreter. If it's an interpreted language, it would be the interpreter that's failing, parse errors, syntax errors, something where you're missing the right punctuation, it's just not formed, things aren't quoted correctly. Computer's just not making sense of it. It could be the wrong type of quote in the wrong spot. Sometimes that can be a little bit more elusive. Sometimes it will give you, while it's giving you the compiler error, it might give it to you for the wrong line, because maybe where your actual error is on a line that is further up. It's usually going to be at that line or further up from where they're telling you. So you want to look at that line first and then look up on compiler errors. A lot of times those guys will encounter look on up, because if you have an error further up in your code, it can send everything kind of out of mode. Like if it's a wrong quote, it's not actually going to start triggering an error until it reaches the next quote of that type. So it maybe is looking at a whole bunch of your other code as a quoted string, and it's not realizing that there's any type of a problem. Until it gets further down, it tries to exit that quote, and then nothing's making sense to it. So if it doesn't make sense to you on that line, look further up. And that's where sometimes too, especially with these compiler errors, looking at something that is able to color code and format your text and make it look pretty, even if you don't generally use something like that, you can help hopefully see, where do things start changing color patterns outside of what you're expecting. If you load it into a colored editor, something that's more fancy like that, it will hopefully show you, hey, we went into a quoted string here, and this is all being looked at as a quoted string. This semicolon was not present at a certain spot. It might not be on the line where the semicolon isn't present. It might be the next line, because it's trying to interpret that as a part of the first line. So the second line is where it's going to call that error. Sometimes that can be a little bit elusive, but at least usually you've got something that's right away once you compile it. That's the easiest type of bug to deal with. Right away when you try to compile it, when you try to run it, it's saying, this doesn't make sense. Sometimes it's a little bit obscure, but it will usually give you a little bit something to go on. Now runtime, they can be difficult to even locate sometimes, because sometimes they only occur when certain conditions are met. These are bugs that will happen as your program is being run, as you're executing your program, as it's taking in variables, doing different things, assigning, changing values. Then those values come up to a certain point where, hey, these don't fit. Your object is too big to fit in that memory space. Your object became a different type than was expected here. Something got assigned incorrectly somewhere along the line. Those types of errors are known of as runtime errors. And that could take a lot of working with your program to even find them. Hopefully you've got hopefully you have a good set of exceptions in there where you've been asserting and throwing based on your assertions. Hey, it's supposed to be this. Oh, it's not that. Throw an exception, and hopefully got enough details from that a lot of times that's an exception that's thrown. It's an error that's thrown that creates a runtime. That's how you know about a runtime error, is it throws an error when it runs. After you've run it, throws the error. Those are kind of in the middle because logic is by far the worst. It never even throws an error. It's simply your program does not do what you expect it to do. You expect it to draw something on the screen in a particular way, for example, and it's drawing it completely backwards. We're going to take a look at a few examples of these different types of errors. I'm not really going to go into like every single error that's ever occurred, because I could probably go on for years and years long of a video, and I don't think anyone wants to sit through a multi-year long video. So I'm going to briefly demonstrate each of these types of errors and kind of show what they look like, but they can look different depending on what you're dealing with. This isn't the only compiler error. This isn't the only logic, the only runtime error, the only logic error, but it will be an example to kind of show the general concept. So let's go ahead and take a look and see. This is my sample program. It's a PHP script in this case. Here I have a function that is designed to write out some text based on the number of times that we're passing to it in the argument. So it's supposed to loop through. If I enter 5, it should show me 5 times. So, this one here, it's got each of these types of, well, at least will have, by the time we're done, we will demonstrate each of these types of errors from this. First one is going to be, of course, our compiler. We have a parse error. This is not a compiled language. This is an interpreted language. So it's a parse error or interpreter error or something like that that's thrown. In this case here, it has an unexpected closing here, and it's expecting either a comma or a semicolon on line 7. Line 7 down here. Wow, well, I don't see anything wrong with that. What I tell you, you go up. Oh, I don't have a semicolon on this. Semicolon. All right. Let's try that again. Now, wow, we have an... Now this is more of a runtime type error. So it's already done the interpretation, but now it doesn't like what it's getting when it runs, because now we're seeing that we have an undefined function here. And once again, most of these errors, when you see that there's a problem, go up. Logic can be a little bit more, you want to go around, look all around it, and up particularly. But in this case too, we're also going to look up. But this, I think, is going to be right where it should be. But it's trying to find an undefined function called text. And it's saying it's over here at line 9. Yes, this is what threw it. So it's right here on my line. Look at my line and look up whenever I see these errors, either compiler, interpreter, or runtime type errors. And yes, I call it test up here, and this is supposed to be text. No, it's supposed to be test. I entered it as text. It's supposed to be test. I need to call it the same. It's case sensitive on PHP. Some languages are case sensitive, some are not so much. Fix that, and let's go. Let's take a look now at a logic error. So what are we expecting to have happen with this program? We're expecting to write out 5 times that this text should only appear 5 times. Okay? Oh, it does not stop. We've got a problem here. What could this be? Well, here's where I have to look all around my error. This is going to be, probably got to be something here with my function here, because this function call looks just fine. I didn't tell it to go 5,000 times, so that's probably fine. I'm trying to do a for loop. I'm starting out with a 0. As long as a is less than the number of times entered, which we entered 5, so as long as it's 4 or less, it should continue to go through this loop where we enter this information. And then on each iteration, we are going to, decrement. We're going down. Let's see what that actually is doing, right? Just to show what's really happening here. Yeah, we're descending in number, so we're never going to go up above, get up above a 5 on here. We have to get to 5 or above. As long as we're less than 4, it's going to continue to run. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. I just need to fix this and make it be what we expect it to do. Now, it works fine. Now I can also remove my debugging code. And you can see where sometimes adding some other debug text that comes out can help you to tell what's running in what order. Is it bypassing what you're expecting it to be running? There are different things that could be happening. Maybe it's false when you think it's true. And why isn't your code running there? Maybe your code was supposed to run there and you just don't know. It's acting like it's never run because maybe it didn't run. Those are some examples of things that can occur for various different types of errors. Thank you for watching.